you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Vos Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Vos.
Hello, this is Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the only season that makes official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Vos Show has been with you for 16 years, going on 17 next month, and over 2,400 episodes. Wow. I just get tired every time I see that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, who carried the show all these years? Well, my wonderful audience did. So do me a favor. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Vos for your family and friends to it. Go to facebook.com/Chris Vos, linkedin.com/Chris Vos, Chris Vos one, the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet and all that good stuff. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Vos Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. We're going to be talking about marketing. A little bit of AI today, I think, too, as well. ROI, AI, B2B, SEO. We're doing all the three-word thingies.
Yeah,
to the three-word thingies. So today we have Melih Oztalay on the show. He is the CEO of SmartFinds Marketing, a digital marketing pioneer with over 30 years of experience helping businesses transform their online strategies into revenue-generating engines. Known for building scalable marketing infrastructure, he has led campaigns for Fortune 500 companies, B2B industrials, tech startups, and professional services firms. Recognized industry thought leader, he frequently appears on national media, speaks at marketing conferences, and contributes to publications such as the Search Engine Journal and Crain's Detroit. His philosophy blends smart technology with strategic storytelling to help brands convert attention into action. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
nice to be on your show, Chris. I think you missed a few things there.
Did I miss a few things?
No, I'm kidding.
There you go. There's a lot there. So good for you.
There is a lot there.
So, Melih, give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, first of all, visit our website, smartfindsmarketing.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been around for a very long time. It is our corporate third brand over the 38-year period.
Wow.
It's been around for now 21 years, specifically. But the agency's been in business since 87. I started the internet group back in 94. It's, was the wild, wild west of the.
Did they have the internet back then?
They did. It was the wild, wild west. We didn't have any rules, no regulations. There was nothing. Yahoo, Netscape, and a few 28.8 modems, and we were good to go.
Prodigy, CompuServe. Yeah, I remember those little dial-up.
AOL, all these things, right? So,
you always keep your fingers crossed every time you dial in.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, right? Because it was like I remember when Windows 95 came out, and I think it finally came to the market in 96. It's kind of a funny story, but until that came onto the market, it was like a disaster trying to make a connection to the internet. So anyway, the point is, we've been around for a long time. We're an award-winning marketing agency out of the Detroit metro area. We've got a great team post financial crisis. So starting around 2011, the current team has been working together. We've all been doing a great job for 14 years.
Wow.
We've got people have asked me, hey, you must be doing a great job keeping the team together. I say, listen, I believe I'm part of the equation, but I don't think I'm the equation. And what I mean to say by that is, because everybody experienced that financial crisis where Detroit was ground zero back in 08, 09, 10, I think that is a significant glue. Everybody went through that together. It was just it was a financial disaster at the end of the day. They were shoveling people out of Michigan back in those days. It was a very difficult time to get through. It was kind of like you've been through a war together, right? It's kind of like, when soldiers are battling together. I mean, this is really what it comes down to. And that same type of situation, I think, exists within the team of 25 that I have.
There you go.
And so we have creative, we have marketing, we got tech, we got writers, everybody's in Detroit. Nobody's out of India, Pakistan, and Thailand, or wherever the heck else people come from.
Well, that was a good shaper of character and team building. Then maybe we should have more of those crises in 2008.
Yeah, let's not make it that bad though. I mean, listen, we went through the pandemic. We went through the pandemic, and we were, it was smooth sailing. We didn't have any problems because we made a lot of changes after that disaster back in 09 and 10. So, but I think it all comes down to knowledge. It comes down to experience. And I think what I'll do is give an example. I was asked to be on a live radio show out of Tampa one time. And the host introduced me as the expert in marketing, or the expert in digital marketing, whatever he said. And when he turned the mic over to me, I said, listen, I just want to clarify something. I said, I'm not an expert. And of course, we're on live radio. And so I said, listen, I'm not.
Most love it when you shoot down what they say.
I know. Well, I wanted to make a point, though, which I think is interesting. And it's the same point I'm going to make here. It's that in today's world, it's hard to be an expert.
Yeah.
In today's world, you have knowledge, you have experience. And the question is, how do you take that knowledge and experience? How do you apply it? Mm-hmm. Right. And more importantly, is how do you take new technologies that are in the market and new strategies, new everything, and use that knowledge and experience and apply it to a client's project, right? Whatever that project is. Is it marketing? Is it the website? Is it lead generation from the website? Is it, public relations, press releases, email marketing? Take your pick, right? So you have to figure out how to take your knowledge and experience and apply it. And to that extent, what I'm saying is there are no experts in the field nowadays. You might be able to say that 30 years ago. I don't think you can say that anymore today, because the speed at which everything changes, and at the speed at which everything and the new technologies and strategies that come up, you can't keep up with that. Who has the time to do that?
I kind of get that when people claim to be AI. Lately, as soon as AI kind of looked like it was really moving there, a bunch of people jumped on board, and they're usually these, I call them carpetbaggers. What they do is they I started in social media after 2008 because I lost everything from, that was a real team builder. Let's put it that way. And so then I had to learn new strategies for marketing and survival. And, I got on Twitter. I was one of the first top 1,000 people on Twitter early on. And I just figured out how it worked. I'm like, the more you advertise on here, the more I press the button, the more traffic I get to my website. This is pretty fucking cool. So it's just a button. So make more buttons, right?
Yeah.
And make more tweets. And so I figured out the game, and then people started hiring me to consult with them, and that was the game. And but back then, like, these people would come on and be like, I'm a social media guru. And, everyone was a guru back then. And you're like, what, are you in Japan or something, in a field or something? Like some scene out of Kill Bill.
And now everybody's an AI guru.
Yeah, and now everybody's an AI guru. And like I say, the carpetbaggers. So they were the NFT gurus when that was like a thing. Remember that? Exactly. Remember how big that was going to be?
That's huge.
It's really turned out well. And a lot of different things, and just like every new fad, they're suddenly, that person is always the new guru. So I call them the carpetbaggers, because they
you're right on target. I agree, 100%.
I remember there's a good friend of mine, and he's a wonderful guy, and so I'm not going to say his name, but I remember Google Plus came out, and he wrote a book like within the first month about how to do Google Plus, and everyone's like giving him shit, like, shouldn't you like wait at least a couple months? Well, we see what this thing really does, and it's kind of in its infancy. But, people like that, what are you going to do?
But hang on a second. You make an interesting point, and I think it's worth talking a little bit further about this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I've told clients, too, is that when something new comes out, if you wait until it's proven, you're late.
That's true. Yeah.
And in the B2B world, especially in the competitive market space that a lot of companies operate in, because it's no longer just national, right? It's also global. And so when something new comes out, and if you have a marketing agency like us, take our word for it. And when we say we're going to move in this direction, we're going to move in this direction. It might not be proven, but we have to try it.
Yeah.
Because if it really takes off, it's going to take off and it's going to do wonders. And the other thing to keep in mind is when something new comes out, it doesn't take long to figure out that it's not working. So it's not like we're talking about spending months on end in this new direction. We're suggesting, hey, let's give this about 30 days. Let's take a look and see what's gonna happen with it.
Yeah.
And so it is worth considering jumping on board when something new comes out. I mean, listen,
at least trying to adapt to it, right?
At least, yeah. I mean, This comes down to my 4As, and I don't remember if I mentioned this to you, but my 4As of change, right? So you need to anticipate change. You need to accept change, which tends to be the hardest one that a lot of companies aren't willing to do. They'll fret, fuss, and fume before they accept the change. And I say, well, while you're fretting, and while you're fretting, fussing, and fuming, don't keep in mind your competitors are moving ahead of you. And so, if I can get the client past the acceptance change, then it's a little bit easier, right? So the third A is adapt to changes. So what do you need to do to make that change happen? And then the last one is probably the easiest one, which is adopt the changes. In other words, implement whatever the changes that you need to do. And so those are my 4As. And I will tell you that I developed these 4As after the 2013 August 2013 Google's Hummingbird algorithm. I learned a hard lesson about Google, and because 90 days after that algorithm came out, I lost a client. The conversation I had with that client is what led me to develop this concept of these 4As, because that's what's helping me to guide not just clients, but partners and otherwise on how do we work within this fast changing environment that we're in.
Yeah. And Google's always changing that marketing algo there.
They are, but you know what? I also, in 2014, I decided to make Google my secondary priority, not my primary.
What was your primary?
Yeah.
Facebook?
Well, we moved into other marketing sectors, right? I mean, we went into press release marketing. We went more into the email marketing. We went heavily into social media. We kind of moved away from this concept of constantly trying to get ranked, because Google's changing algorithms like crazy. And it's like, well, at some point you just can't, it's hard to keep up. So what you're better off doing is finding a consistent method of how you're going to optimize your website. Stick to the basics and don't try to overcompensate, because that's usually where you get into trouble. Rather, let's take a look at the, what I call an omnichannel or a multi-channel marketing approach. So don't stay focused on just SEO. Why don't we take a look around and see what else is out there and spread the marketing activities across the board, which we found, believe me, much more successful.
That'll make a difference. So what do you guys do for your clients? What is the sort of work that you do or services that you offer?
Well, I think at the highest level, I'll tell you that we're more like a fractional CMO, right?
Okay.
We come in with a team, and we're a 360 marketing agency, and we basically take over everything, right? And when I say we're a fractional CMO, it's usually because we're in support of an existing marketing team within our client, or alternatively, the client doesn't have a marketing team or a marketing department, which we have a new project very similar to that. And we come in and we become the digital marketing department for them, right? We take care of everything in that. So that's the high level. Now, on the flip side, though, is you run into scenarios where companies say, listen, can you manage our website? Including the website performance management? Can you do our blogs? Can you run our email marketing and run our social media? So I don't know. And I'm just throwing out a concept here of solution of maybe 5 or 6 services, right? And so we'll bundle that together and put a price tag on it per month based on the number of hours or work that's required. And so if I take a look at what do we get asked the most, especially post-pandemic? And it's usually, and keep in mind, we're in the B2B space. We moved away from B2C after the financial crisis.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, our biggest exposure was with the B2C clients.
Oh, really?
With the financial crisis, unfortunately. Especially with the advertising dollars. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it here right now. But my point is, as I'm talking, I want the audience to understand that we're talking about B2B here. And so what's the number one thing a lot of B2B companies are looking for? They want their website to convert the website visitors into leads.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the industry, we call this conversion rate optimization, or CRO.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for clients, they don't have a clue what that means in most cases, and that's okay. It's an industry term. Rather, for their purposes, it's about website visitor conversion or website lead generation. The idea is, how do you take your existing traffic that you're getting and convert it to a lead or a sale?
Yeah.
That's the process, or that's the service. Now, the way that this works is, first and foremost, we have an AI tool that makes this happen. And the AI tool is creating what I call is a journey funnel per visitor. So in the B2B world, what usually ends up happening is that same visitor will come back 2, 3, 4, 5 times to the website, looking at different things and trying to get better understanding before they contact somebody. So our job is, how do we take somebody who comes into the website 5 times and bring them down to 3?
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
And the way that we do that is the AI tool's journey funnel is tracking that second visit and that third visit, and it's creating this journey funnel for that visitor, and it gets a little bit more aggressive along the way in terms of the call to action that's on the screen. So look at it this way. We're talking about an active call to action versus a passive call to action. So what do I mean by passive? We all have passive call to actions on our web pages, right? It's a button that says click here, or, fill out, contact us, or whatever the case might look like. Those are all passive, because that's where you're waiting for the website visitor to click on something. And what we're talking about with active call to action, meaning that the AI is identifying which call to action to give you, and gives it to you based on the activities that you've been performing within the website. How long, how many pages, how long you spent on a page, which pages you've gone to, which category of pages you've been to, and then based on that, feeding you the necessary call to action so that that particular person can become a lead. So that's part of the job. The other part is heat maps, a lot of A/B testing, a ton of A/B testing. Sometimes it's ABC testing. We do a lot of optimization within the website as well. And there's a whole list of things that people can find on our website that talk about our CRO program. But that's, I would say, would be at the top of the list of what a lot of B2B companies are looking for nowadays is, how do I convert my existing traffic?
Yeah.
It's not about driving more traffic. Let's get our website to be effective first. Then we can talk about driving more traffic to the website.
Yeah. You want to, what is the bounce rate? You want to get that down. If you got people coming, you want to make sure that you can at least, activate it. So what clients usually fit you? Medium, large, small companies?
Yeah, usually
spend they need to have.
Yeah. I mean, I can break up our clients into probably 3 groups. One is, on the low end, it's usually $10 million in annual gross revenue or more. And that takes us up to about 100 million. Then we got the group that's 100 million plus. And, that's the level where we end up being in support of an existing marketing team, or it could be even a, one-man marketing team. And I think that's the important part to keep in mind is we're never coming into a project or to a client trying to take over the people that exist. That's like the worst thing that any marketing agency can do. You need that person on the inside who knows everything about the company to help facilitate getting the job done. And so we're never there about trying to take somebody's job. Rather, we're in support of whoever's there. But then we have clients that are in the 8 figures and more, and those are specialized projects on whatever little tweak and niche work that they want us to do. And so those are kind of our three groups. Do we do work with small business? And the answer is usually if they're referred to us, yes. Do we actively seek them out? No. I'm just being real.
And so how do you see AI impacting what's going on right now? What are some of the advances you're seeing? I mean, it's moving incredibly fast.
It's moving very, very quickly. It's amazing what's happened in 2.5 years. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
First of all, give you an example on the AI world as it relates to our day-to-day activities. I don't want to get into the robot world and everything else that's going on, but the fact that you could create an AI workflow that will effectively take care of your mundane day-to-day activities is amazing. That didn't exist 2.5 years ago when ChatGPT first came to market. Here we are, 2.5 years later, and all of a sudden you have AI agents. You can tie AI agents together and you can create that flow, right? So that, in my opinion, from a productivity and an efficiency standpoint, it should be number one on everybody's list. How do I learn about AI agents? The other thing that we're seeing, obviously, is, content development in AI has leaps and bounds forward in 2.5 years. Forget just creating blog posts, right? That's turned into standard operating procedure nowadays. But now you're doing movies, right? You're doing video with AI, it's coming out pretty damn good. I mean, especially if you're familiar with Canva. Our team uses Canva quite a bit. Canva's platform, let alone the AI tools that they will. We create a draft of a pitch video for our client just the other day through Canva, and it was amazing what came out of it. And don't get me wrong, it's going to get improved on, but what came out was pretty good.
Yeah.
So content development has changed a lot, right? Image development, using AI to develop videos, which I think, videos has always been a hindrance to a lot of companies because it takes so long to put them together, right? Well, put together a simple PowerPoint and let AI figure out how to do it for you, right?
Yeah.
And so, I'm giving examples on how AI is impacting marketing and how AI can impact our workflow and our efficiency on a day-to-day basis. Now, obviously, we could spend the next 2 hours talking about AI, but these are just a few examples.
Wow. So you guys are trying to stay up on, the cutting edge. It is amazing how much
we don't have a choice.
Yeah. It is amazing how good the video works. I mean, it really is.
Is it?
And of course, how
wild.
It's upsetting coding and a lot of different things. I mean, you can have, there's some AI bots now, you can have build a website for you. It's crazy.
Hang on a second. Let me pick up on that.
Sure.
And this is a good example, and I'll give the audience a little piece here that they can use right off the get-go. Go to ChatGPT, grab your blog post, one of your blog posts that you want to rank, for example. Take the URL of that, give it to ChatGPT, and say, give me the schema code for this blog post. And it will give you the script that you need that you can just copy paste right into that blog, to that page. It's not for your entire website, for that page. And if you're wondering what schema is was developed originally back in 2007 by Google, Yahoo, and Microsoft. What is it? It identifies what the content is on a web page.
Oh.
So is this a phone number? Is this a zip code? Is this a state? Is this an address? Is this the body of the blog post, for example? Everything gets identified since 2007, and you want to have schema. Go to schema.org if you really want to dig into it, but I don't recommend it because it gets too technical. But my point is that schema is also being used by AI agents, by the GPTs out there. So, for example, I went through this conversation not too long ago. How do you get sourced in ChatGPT or in Claude or in Copilot or in Gemini? In other words, somebody goes there and like let's use my agency as an example. B2B marketing agency, who would you recommend? Like if you were to go to ChatGPT and do that, how do we get our company into that? Aside from the fact that you need notable sources on the web, so your website, your press releases, and your social media, etc. The AI GPTs out there are also looking at the schema code. Now, the schema code for the AI is slightly tweaked from what used to be just for Google, Yahoo, Microsoft. And so adding schema code to a page not only facilitates general search engine optimization and usage for Google, but now it's benefiting your web page or your website getting sourced when somebody's looking for something and asking the GPTs for a recommendation.
Wow.
It's big stuff.
Yeah, big stuff. It's interesting how the landscape of this is constantly changing. Google's
Exactly.
constantly changing their little algorithms and, all that stuff. And it's just crazy, like all the variables and the constant moving thing. Now, you talk about a strategic foundation on the ROI of marketing infrastructure and why sometimes marketing can fail without it. Tell us about what that means, a strategic foundation.
So the idea or the concept here is this. Every company out there wants a return on their investment, right? And I think that's an important factor to keep in mind. Marketing is an investment in your company, in your brand. It's not an expense. Now, advertising is an expense. That's not what we're talking. Investment in your company and in your brand and your services. And so everybody's looking to say, listen, what's my return on an investment? So I think it's absolutely important. And I know this sounds ROI 101 per se, but it's amazing how many people really don't go through the exercise. And the exercise, they don't. It's crazy. And so the exercise, when we talk about the foundation, is okay. Let's just use this as a simple example. I'm spending $5,000 a month on marketing. Okay. How many leads do I need to get to generate a certain amount of revenue to not only make up for the 5,000, which is coming out of my profits, my net profits, but how many sales do I need to actually make a profit on that 5,000? So when we talk about the foundation, you need to go through that exercise. You're spending X, how many leads you get, and then you need to know how many leads do I convert, and am I converting enough leads to make up for the 5,000 in my net profits or from my net profits? And if I want to make money on top of that, how many sales do I need to close? So when we're talking about the strategy and we're talking about the foundation, that's the foundation we need to work on. So what's one sale worth in net profits? Start with that. I'm not talking about gross revenue, and we're not talking about gross profits either. What's my net profit on one sale? Does that cover my investment in the marketing budget? So that's where we need to start with. Then and once you figure that equation out, then believe me, everything else gets a lot easier.
Well, that's what you want. You want things to get easier, not harder, because there's enough of that harder stuff going on and all those things. One thing you talk about is most B2B SEO is built wrong. What are some common missteps that you see out there in the marketplace?
I'll refer back to what we just talked about. First mistake or misstep is not knowing that schema exists. And when it comes to optimizing your website, you need to be able to understand that schema is very important in the grand scheme of things. It's not just about your title. It's not just about your meta description and your tags and your categories and of your web page or website. You have to have the technical infrastructure in place as well. And that schema code is important. But that being said, the next misstep usually is the fact that the title isn't properly defined based on the content of the page. I can't tell you how many times people use the same title across all of their pages or lack thereof. And the title is such an important factor in SEO.
Yeah.
And so, but the title has to match what's on the page. You can't just have the content, how you optimize your homepage is not the same as you're going to optimize one of your service pages or your product pages.
Yeah.
So the title has to be different, and accordingly, so the description has to be different as well. You can't just just willy-nilly go through this. And so we see a lot of this being an issue. Next step, a lot of pages don't have featured images or have an image on them, and they need an image. Next step, they don't have subheadings. And so you need to tag your subheadings appropriately in the HTML code. What's another misstep? Oh, you need a link to another page within your website. So you need at least one internal link, and you need at least one external link. In other words, where are you linking out to? These are all part of your SEO checklist, so to speak. And I hope that your viewership is getting a little bit of feedback on some of the things that they need to watch for.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes to it, and that's kind of why you have to hire this stuff out now, is because it's just so whipping fast on what's going on and your competition. You got to figure your competition's out there trying to keep up and compete with you too.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's just a matter of who gets there first or who's advertising ahead of the other ones. You see how Barnes and Noble. I remember back in the day, Barnes and Noble was like the leading book selling store in America.
Huge.
And Amazon just beat him to market by a very short time, by a couple months or something. I don't remember exactly. But they basically beat them to market with their first website and offering, and they were dragging their feet at getting online, I believe. And that difference of being online, I think 6 months maybe ahead of them or something, 3 months ahead of them, just turned Amazon into a powerhouse bookseller. It was like,
isn't that crazy? And that's where they started on, was the book selling.
Yeah. And they totally upended that market, something fierce.
It's crazy.
And and stuff like that can happen. You look at BlackBerry was another good. The BlackBerry phones, they were like, we're so detailed, no one can beat us. Steve Jobs, whatever, Steve. We're the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Overnight, they were gone. The same thing with Nokia.
Well, do you remember Encarta, Microsoft's encyclopedia?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you know what took Encarta down?
What?
Wikipedia.
It was free.
Wikipedia took Encarta down at the end of the day. I mean, I'm broad stroking this right now, but ultimately, Microsoft didn't put their encyclopedia online. They were hell bent on wanting to sell that as a knowledge base, and Wikipedia came out not only for free with as an encyclopedia, but more importantly, Wikipedia stuck to their guns, and every article inside of Wikipedia has to have references.
Yeah.
And if they don't, and they're very strict. I mean, mind-bogglingly strict. But they were able to get rid of, things like Encarta went away because of that.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of interesting. The people wanted to Encyclopedia Britannica probably held back and whatever.
They did too. Exactly.
And and some people don't want to do what's called eating your own lunch.
Yeah.
Apple did that with the iPad. They knew that if they launched the iPad, that it would cannibalize their Mac sales, and sure enough, it did. It did destroy their Mac sales, but they came up with a new revenue stream, and it's one of those things where you got to do it, or somebody else is going to eat your lunch. Basically, that's it.
Yeah, like I said before, when you see change, you need to figure out how to accept it very quickly and try it out. And there is no room any longer in today's market to just wait around. It just doesn't exist anymore.
No more fucking around. So as we give people a final pitch out on how they can onboard with you guys, how they can get to know you better, reach out, et cetera, et cetera.
I think I've already given out our website, smartfindsmarketing.com. But if you want to reach me, I suggest you reach me on LinkedIn. I guarantee you I'm the only Melih Oztalay on LinkedIn.
I wish I had that kind of uniqueness. I like that.
And the other thing I'm going to suggest for the viewership is I have 22,000 really close friends on LinkedIn.
Wow.
And so please tag me. I'm happy if you tag me. Just for those who don't know, if you tag somebody on LinkedIn on a post, that person gets an email in their normal inbox, not their LinkedIn inbox, but their normal email inbox, and that turns into kind of a to do, so to speak. So when I get those emails from LinkedIn, I actually go to that post. I will react on it. I'll put a solid comment in there. I'll put some hashtags, and I will help you expand your reach into a larger network. So, and to my understanding, you can do this whether I'm connected to you or second or third level. So, but by all means, I love connecting with people. So send me a connection request. I'm happy to join up and happy to chat once connected on LinkedIn.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And wonderful insightful stuff on what's going on with marketing and AI and the future. So thank you very much. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Vos, LinkedIn.com/Chris Vos, Chris Vos, one of the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. And that should have us out. Great.